wallowing in priors that I'm talking about, and I know, and I'm just exhausted from it, and I think that's a really wallowing in priors is, we should, as scientists, we shouldn't enjoy it. It's not, the healthy science is when we're moving away from dependence on priors.
It's like enjoying bereavement.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. You have to go through it.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Yeah, and I sort of feel, and the thing is, it's been a little bit, and it's interesting because this is how science evolves. I don't think, throughout the recent decades, I don't think we all knew we were wallowing in priors. We were trying to understand inflation. We were trying to argue, is it natural? Is it tuned? Is it this? We were sort of had our nose to the grindstone trying to figure stuff out. And I think most of my colleagues still don't think they're wallowing in priors. but that's sort of where I've arrived at, and I think I've earned myself a break from it. But yeah, so I'm not going to answer that. I think it's like
more meta on the question of how we decide whether to wallow in priors. We looked at the LHC, and a lot of money was spent, a lot of man-years were put into it. Did people do enough wallowing before that on questions of naturalness?
So there wasn't an issue.
What's that?
But it's an issue now, but the LHC was not an issue because we knew we had to see something because of a particular threshold that if we crossed, we would see either a particle or something that had to unit to our standard model. Now that debate is happening. What next?
Yeah.
We're not guaranteed to see anything. And so there's people...
So machines get built for more than just one reason. And the many other things that
they were hoping to find a bunch of other stuff, but precisely this debate...
It is more critical now, because now the only justification is something like
No, the only justification now is naturalist.
So let me just speak up in favor of curiosity. So I think one of the things that the LHC and the SSC and all that, they really distorted particle physics because they made it seem like the only reason to be curious about the next energy level is if you have a shopping list of things you're going to do. And I think human curiosity is the most wonderful thing. I think that's why I love being a scientist. And yes, it's there is the question of how you want to spend your resources, and you got to juggle that. But I'm not opposed. I don't want to, as far as I can manage it, I'd like not to get obsessive about predicting exactly why I'm being curious about some new domain of physics before I explore it.
So I agree, and I'm right there with you, but so if you were to, for example, try to close a space mission for, let's say, observing the cosmic microwave background to some higher degree of accuracy, you're going to lose the exoplanet people because funding agencies are not going to sustain the curiosity they want to see.
So let me give a personal kind of this. So 10 years ago or so, I was on the Dark Energy Task Force, and I was really passionate. What the Dark Energy Task Force did, it was convened by the funding agencies in the US to say, oh, this dark energy is really exciting. What do we need to do to understand it better? And we did all this modeling, and it was very satisfying because until then, different proponents of different approaches were going around giving really bullshit arguments about why theirs was the best. And we were able to do some technical work to try to address that. It was honestly, it was pretty superficial technical work, but at least we set a standard for that you should try to answer those questions in a technical way. And then you could say, and so it focused on the question of whether dark energy was really a lambda or had some time-dependent thing going on. And you could say, like, do we want to really focus all these resources? I mean, lambda is a pretty good explanation. Is that really enough? And you could, there's no big target. You can't say, well, if you build these experiments, you'll be sure to tell the different, there's lots of theories can go under the radar with these big experiments. And so I can just share how I felt, like, how did I feel about that? And in fact, basically all the proposals of the Dark Energy Task Force are being built. So in that sense, it was incredibly successful in generating huge experiments. And in my heart, how I feel about it is that we're going to learn so much from these these observations, these new telescopes. I don't know what it is, but I'm in favor of that curiosity, and to me that's what.
Not because it's probably not going to solve the dark energy problem.
It may or may not, and so I feel good that if I help these things get built by working hard for the problem that was on everyone's minds at the time and building it, building the case, and then, I mean, that's how people work. They get excited about things and get curious about things, and sometimes that curiosity goes one way. Like I like what Henry said in his talk. If people hadn't been curious, if people hadn't thought they were solving tuning problems, we probably wouldn't have gotten so excited about inflation. I think it's fun. It's fun to have. I don't want to, I don't want to wish it out of existence at this point. It's been very productive. It's I think thanks to inflation as a target that people went and built these beautiful telescopes, these radio telescopes, and so on. So it's how we operate. We get excited about things. I mean, it's how curiosity works. You get excited about things. It's often something very different that you find out once you. I mean, that's how I was feeling. People would get in the early days of quantum computation. People were saying, "Oh, will you ever build a quantum computer?" And I said, "I just think it's great that people are so excited about this, and even if we don't ever build a quantum computer, we'll learn so much about quantum physics, we'll do interesting things with materials, and I'm happy to be part of that. Without this focused, yes, I know exactly what path I'm on, and that's the only reason to justify doing anything is because I know exactly where I'm headed."
So do we have any coffee break left?
Yes. So we have. I think we should now make a coffee break until maybe, and then start at 11 sharp. The next.
Thanks. Thank you.